Hello everyone, it is Red with RedDragonLeo.com. It is Monday the 27th of May and I'm just doing an update here for you. I'm looking at the SPX right now, and as you can clearly see here, this is a daily chart and we are still in this rising channel. We've only dipped out of it this one time during this time period right here. We've had about a 3% pullback there, about another 3% there, another 3% there, got back in the channel, and now we had another 3% there after going up here hitting a perfect topping tail on May the 22nd, my preferred date for a high. We still have the 29th coming this Wednesday. It is a secondary date for a high. However, I don't think they're going to take out this current high at the moment. I give this the highest odds of sticking, and any high we get coming in the 29th this Wednesday will just be the perfect place to short, in my opinion, and it'll just be a wave 2 up. You can clearly see down here at the bottom, this thing is rolling over quite nicely now, and you're getting a nice separation between these two MACD lines, the red one and the black one, and that to me indicates that there is some strength to this down move, that it's not a weak down move. Now, is there going to be a bounce? Of course there will. You know, indications would say that we should bounce up probably and retest this 1670 area. That would be the ideal situation. Now, we all know how these market makers like to run the stops and trick everyone. So it would not surprise me if they did not actually go above that area and take out some stops that people put up there in this long topping tail. Let's look at this on a 60-minute chart here and kind of give you an idea of what I'm saying. As you can see here in the 60-minute chart, it is quite oversold here. Down to the negative 2.5 to negative 5 area in that zone, and it is going back up. I do believe they're going to go back up, and what they're going to do is if you drew a line, let's draw one here. If you drew a line like right here in this area, then by the time this thing gets up here, if it does, it might hit this 2.5, then roll over. So you can see where it's at right there. On the 2-hour chart, kind of the same scenario. Let's get rid of this line now. Delete. You can see it is curling up and definitely looks like it wants to go back up. And again, probably will hit a line there of resistance and knock it down. And we'll go over here to the 4-hour chart as well to see. As you can see, the 4-hour chart is still pointing down. What you tend to see happen is when the 4-hour chart gets, as long as it's backed up by the daily, of course, when the 4-hour chart starts to get close to the 0 line, you see it do a hook and go back up and put in a lower high. And at the same time, it does not go back up above here on the MACDs. They stay in negative territory. They might just put in a higher low on one of them. They'll stay in a higher, but they stay negative. Whereas the 60-minute chart will actually go positive, and then maybe the 2-hour chart will actually go positive. A good example of that is right here, back in this area here. You can see where it sold off. These again are 4-hour candles. So 1, 2, then you had one positive one, then 3, 4, and at that time, this is about where it's at right here. You see how the black line kind of straightened out a little bit, and we put in a lower high right there, or I'm sorry, a higher low on this MACD candle, but it did stay red, and that allowed for a bounce. Just it's a 2 4-hour candles, so that's an 8-hour period, so, and that's what we had. I kind of think that's what we're going to have here. And again, if we look at this, where could it go to? 1670 is where you're going to see all the resistance, right in that area. And I just don't know if they're going to do it or not, but You know, of course, if this rising channel line could rise up, and it could be 1675 or something like that. So it really just depends upon how many people put stops up above there, whether or not. I don't think too many people caught it, to be honest. There's not too many people that seen that move up and then and actually had a chance to put in a bunch of stops there. But we have, it's been 2 days or 3 days. Let's see, the 22nd last Wednesday, so it's been Thursday, Friday. So there could have been people that put in some stops above there, and depending upon how many there is, will really depend upon whether the supercomputer Skynet that runs it, that runs the algorithms and all this, whether or not it will actually pierce above there and take out those stops. Regardless of whether or not it does or not, I do believe the high is in right here on the 22nd, just as I thought it would be. Now, the best date here to put in the high would be, of course, the 29th. That's another 11 day. It doesn't have to be that day, but being as tomorrow is the 28th, 28 is according to numerology, a day of wealth, just like the number 8 indicates wealth. So, with the charts lining up with it, why not go ahead and rally up and fool some people? So I kind of think that's what's going to happen. Wherever they go, this should be an area that people will be looking to get short. So if I had to guess, if we have a strong rally tomorrow, then we would go up here, stop in this area Wednesday, put in a top right there at 1670, allow everybody to put in stops there above it. People will short right there at this 1670 area. And they'll put in their stops at 1675, 1680, 1685, etc. That's where they'll put their stops in. Then the computer, if it sees enough of those stops, what will happen, again, if we have a solid up day closing at the highs, because remember, historically, when you have a solid all-up day, that's a bullish candle, it indicates you got about a 90% chance of a higher high the next day. Does not mean it will hold, simply means it's going to be a higher high. Most of the time, when you're ready to turn like this, it pops up higher and takes out all those stops, those buy stops, but there's not enough of them to get the market going higher, and then it just rolls back over. So if we see a stop on Wednesday around the 1670 area, and it is a close at the high that day, then I would not short full position there. You might want to get a small position, and I would actually wait for the open on Wednesday, the 29th, for it to pop up above there quickly in the morning and take out those stops, and then try to short it, try to catch it just like you did the stop here. You only had maybe, it did that in the early morning. I mean, you really didn't have it about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before it started rolling back down. And you're probably going to have the same scenario here, but you're going to have to look at the charts and see where they're at. I mean, if you see the 60-minute chart still pointing up, if it works its way up and goes up, I guess we can use our little thing here to draw for you guys. If I can, let me see here. If I can do that. Let's see here. Nope. Here, okay. Here it is. Let's see if I can't draw a little bit for you. Hopefully. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Come on now. Sometimes this thing doesn't want to work on me. Okay, there it is. Okay, so here we are here on down here in the corner. So what would I expect? Again, you'd kind of want to go up a little bit, and then up a little bit, and then up a little bit all day long. And eventually, if that was a straight line, I'm sorry, I can't hardly draw, but get this thing going up a little bit, and then that's it. And so you might close here on Wednesday, and then here's your little pop here on Tuesday, and here's your little pop right here on Wednesday, and then you roll over, and that's it. So that means you might kind of go, I don't know if it's going to continue, it's going straight up or it's going to go down. I don't know, but I would look for it to just kind of go up here, hit that area right in here Tuesday, have one more pop, and then roll over, and then I think we're going down. This time around, we should definitely take this out, and I think where we're headed is right here. This is, I don't know, about 1597 is gap fill. I think that's where we're going to go over the coming days in a wave 3 down. If this is a wave 1, this is some kind of crazy wave 2. And again, the ABC, it's an ABC. I thought we'd have a C wave pop out on Friday. We did not. We actually had the A portion here, then we had the B, and it looked like we're starting to see, but we never did break out. So you would kind of tend to think that we're going to break out Tuesday, tomorrow, right, the day after Memorial Day. Go up here and put in some kind of top, and then possibly pierce above it, and then go down. And this will be our first target before we bounce again, and then ultimately I think that'll break, and we're going to head down again and go lower. But we'll have to get to that point when we get there. So let's just take it a little bit at a time. Let's look at this again here on the yearly chart, and you can see basically what I would expect is, again, let's try to draw some lines on here for you. Oops, let's see. Okay. All right, as you can see, this might curl a little bit like this as it makes a pop, but then eventually it's just going to continue straight on down. It's just too high. We kind of know that. But being as it found support right here, yeah, I do tend to think, again, if we had a solid white candle here that day, it's not white, but you get the idea. And then you have a little pop here, then we put in another topping tail. Doesn't have to go as high as this one, of course. I think that top is in. But then the next go around, you break this, and you keep on going down here, and you stop around in this area where that gap fill was. And then you have a bounce there. Since this is a wave 3 down, it should be a pretty powerful wave. This might be the wave 2 bounce. So after you have that 1600, you might have a 1 day only bounce. And I don't know where it's going to go. It might be 1 day, it might be 2 days. I think it's going to be a 1 day wave 2, most likely inside this larger wave 3. And then I think you're just going to continue down and bust through the 1600, and ultimately we're going to end up here and retest this bottom. That's where we're going to end up. So I don't know. You know, maybe I'm looking at this. Maybe I'm counting this wrong. Maybe this is a wave 4. I'm sorry. So if this is a wave 2, then I guess that's a wave 4. I'm not so much worried about the counts. I'm just looking at the support, and the support is clearly at that 1600 gap fill, and then after that, this retest of this low here at 1536. You know, every now and then I go and check the chart pattern trader out whenever he posts these free stuff. You know, I used to watch him a lot, but I ain't watched him in over a year, because he pretty much now puts out updates only on the weekends, and his regular videos are his private stuff. But he's got a good chart here on Ron Walker's got a good chart here, a good idea of what I think is going to happen. I think this is right. He's got around the same target, about 1675. You go up to it for a wave 2. You go down for a C wave, and you can see his channel as well, just like mine, to retest that 1600 and fill that gap. Then he just has it continue going on down. But at that point, I think that's where we're going to see our wave 4 up. That's the only part I see wrong. I think that's going to produce a 1 day rally for a wave 4. Then we're going to go on down for a wave 5 or something like that, and hit that 1536 area for a retest. And of course, again, that could be inside of a 3 wave. It could be an that 1 day move inside of a wave 3. Maybe this whole thing is a 3, as he suggests, and you have that intraday or 1 day rally inside it, then on down, then you have your 4, then you have your 5. That's a possibility too. But right now, what we're going to be focused on is one thing at a time. I'm looking for a rally into the morning of the 29th, Wednesday. That's the short, and then I would short it down to this gap fill around 1600. And that's it for now, guys. I guess I will see you guys on the blog. So far, everything is going according to plan with Goddess and all, so let's hope it continues. Good luck, everyone. Thanks a lot.